I know pretty much most of you, and most of you have probably been here. If you haven't been here, welcome to the Idea Bank. We just serve as a collaborative hub for business and entrepreneurship, and we love to host workshops like this. And I'm very excited to welcome Ms. Karla Johnson. Ms. Karla asked me about potentially hosting this workshop. She has read this book and said that it turned her business around, and I thought it would be just a perfect fit for what we do here, because it's one of the #1 questions I get from students and from just business owners in the community is just how to improve cash flow and how to make sure we're making a profit. So Ms. Karla is a local business owner. She's CEO of Johnson Labs. She's very involved in the business community and with the Chamber of Commerce. And she is going to introduce you guys to this concept of profit first, which is based off of a book, and I will let her share more about that. But just a couple housekeeping items. If you haven't, I think most of you have grabbed lunch. If you haven't, if you want more, obviously we have plenty left over, so feel free to grab more. The restrooms are behind me. This is very casual. I don't want to speak for Karla, but we want this to be casual, open conversation. So feel free to ask questions and engage and get up if you need to get up. The last thing I will say is this is the first of a series of 4 workshops that we are doing in partnership with MAX Credit Union, where we are focusing solely on building your financial systems for your business. So Ashley is here from MAX Credit Union. Definitely make sure you stop by and see her before you leave today. They are a really great resource for business banking. So she will be here for all of our workshops, and we will share the rest of the dates with you at the end of today. But we hope you enjoy the workshop, and I will go ahead and turn it over to Karla.
I am so excited to be here today. This is my passion. I am passionate about jobs in Alabama and small businesses in Alabama. And if we don't have some financial help, we're not going to stay in business, right? So I would love, my background is I'm a public school teacher. So if you have any question at any point, please get my attention and I'll stop, and because I want to go where you want to go with this, okay? I don't want this to waste your time. I want you to be able to walk out of here and apply the principles tomorrow and get on the right track, okay? But before we really start, and I do want to say thank you so much to Lynn at the Idea Bank and Ashley at Max for sponsoring this, because I do think that it is a wonderful thing for us to partner together. But I would love to go around the room and have you all share who you are, and if you're a student or if you already have a business, if you're a student, what's your major? Do you have plans to start a business? Just a quick sentence or two about who you are so I know how to adapt this for you. So, Jonas, you know that I'm going to start with you.
Should we stand up?
I would love for you to stand up.
All right.
We'll practice being professional.
Yeah. Okay. My name is Jonas Shaw. I'm the owner of Studio 7 right down the street and 7S Media Company here in Troy. And what was the other part? Was that it?
That's pretty much it.
Okay.
You're not a student.
Right. Yeah.
So.
I'm not a student.
How long have you been in business?
I've been in business since 2021. Yeah.
21.
2021.
Okay. All right. Good deal. Thank you. All right. Go, Griffin, go.
Hi, my name is Griffin Earls. I'm a student and I'm a business owner with the Student Made store here. I have a business called Griffin Crafts. I know it sounds funny, but it's my name, just different spelling. And yeah.
Wonderful. And you come from a business family, correct?
Yes, my family does have a business as well.
Right.
So I have a little bit of a background with that.
And all of that counts as far as business experience. That's great. Okay?
Hi guys, I'm Laura, and I have a business called Nails by Nava, and I make press-on nails, and I also have nails in the Student Made store, and I'm a senior at Bard.
Wonderful. Okay?
Hi everyone, my name is Ty Caldwell. I'm a sophomore social work major at Troy University. I'm in the process of starting my business called Modern Criminal. Modern gentleman, sorry.
I'm sorry, what was the name?
Modern gentleman.
Oh, okay, is it a clothing line?
Yes.
Perfect, okay, wonderful.
How y'all doing? My name is Chris Fields. I'm a senior, major in sports management, and I plan on starting a coaching business and real estate business.
Coaching business and what?
Real estate business.
Okay, wonderful. Shabrell?
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dr. Shabrell Parker, and I am the founder and CEO at Fullbrook, which we have counseling services for children and families in the community. And we also do a lot of other things like career development workshops for our kids, and also an author. And my husband and I have a property or two that we manage, so I kind of got my hands in a lot of pots. But I'm happy to be here and excited to learn. Been in business since 2014, sorry.
Thank you for being here.
Good morning, I'm Brittany Lindsay. I'm the owner and director of Advantage Realty here in Troy. I did graduate from Troy University with a marketing degree, and I am from Troy. So, I bought the company about a year ago, but I've been in the real estate business for about 13 years.
Wonderful. Okay? Dalton?
Hey y'all, I'm Dalton. Currently I am, a freshman at Troy. Currently I also run Gulf Coast Loading, a mobile float service that primarily deals with Mardi Gras and other parades that happen in the area. And yeah, that's really it.
Okay, good deal.
Alright, my name is Omar Vaughn. I own a window tint company here in Troy. I got my degree from Troy in IT. I tint cars, houses, commercial buildings, anything with a window, we throw some tint on there for you. And I've been in business since last April, so glad to be here.
Wonderful. Emma?
Hey, I'm Rollins. My business is Drone Sharks. It's a drone business for real estate photography. I just placed second in the business pitch competition, so I'm hoping to expand into like search and rescue kind of with thermal drones. I work at MAX with Ashley. Also, I'm just a teller, though, nothing special. Like she do whatever I'm doing all this stuff. But if you have an account,
That was our special.
hey, I can do your transaction for you.
Like right now? Yeah. You want to them?
Hi,
Yeah.
I'm probably late. I'm Alicia Hartley. My family owns Town Country Home Center. All I'm supposed to say.
How long have you been with them in business?
I've only been there 2 years.
Okay. All right. All right, great. Well, I am so excited to see such a great mix of students, new business owners, and seasoned business owners. And I firmly believe that no matter what stage you're in, you will get something out of it that will make your finances stronger, okay? You may have a great system in place, but I really believe that you're going to get some good tips. So a little bit about me. I am a retired public school teacher. I taught for 30 years. And then very suddenly, without much warning, I was thrust into the business world, and I now run the business that my husband started 38 years ago, okay? So he had run it for about 35 years before I stepped in. So all I knew is what I heard at home, like Griffin, and just working there just a little bit over the years, but not a lot. So I started there in 2019. And then in 2023, we were named Small Manufacturer of the Year for the state of Alabama. So that was a great accomplishment. Things seem to be going great and wonderful, but it felt like we were on the crazy cycle financially, okay? And being a very seasonal business just made it even worse. So like Dalton doing very seasonal parades, that's going to have different needs for your business. How many of you have a somewhat seasonal business? Anybody? Okay, all right. I mean, I think they all have some dips, and you either sell a lot at Christmas or nobody does business with you during Christmas. It's one or the other. But our major business over the years has been in the hunting industry. So for 7 months out of the year, we are busting it, getting things out just as fast as we can go. And the other 5, it's like, can we please clean the house for somebody? So those high dips and lows is what we were seeing. So I had to find a way to try to get off the crazy cycle with our finances, okay? So I was, I tried the forecasting and the spreadsheets and budgets and all that, and all of those are great tools. But I need my accountant to do that. And this gives me a different way to look at it, and believe it or not, they do mesh. But this system, Profit First, helps me in the day-to-day so that I can manage it better. Because if you just take all your receipts and everything to the accountant once a year, things are not going to go well. All right? So, the number one reason that most businesses fail within the first 5 years is lack of cash flow. Lack of cash flow. All right? And so this is going to help you allocate the money into the right places. So I want you to think about this and then share what expenses for your business keep you awake at night. Okay? What expenses keep you awake at night? For me, it's payroll and chemicals. After 2020, chemical costs went through the roof. It was ridiculous, okay? And I can't compete with, Dawn dishwashing detergent if I'm paying 4 times as much for the same chemical as they are because I just make small batches. All right, Jonas, what keeps you awake?
I was thinking that wasn't rhetorical. Was that?
No, it wasn't.
Okay.
You know me.
Yeah. I don't know. Okay. Well, no. What keeps me up at night as far as expenses is damaged equipment, and staff. Yeah.
Yes.
So,
So payroll,
Yeah,
staff.
yeah.
Okay. All right. I need another business person. What keeps you up at night? Which expense?
As a window tech, kind of a lower overhead, I would say.
Okay.
So if anything is, buying supplies like tents.
Right.
Also paying on like my vehicles, my work vehicles and things like that.
Right, because you've got to have work vehicles where I don't. I want one, but I don't have to have one. Okay, good. Shabril?
I would say, staff and, just like the overhead expenses of like running an office and things like that. So.
And those overhead expenses are hidden when you first start your business.
Right.
You can plan, you can try to see, but usually there's a lot more that only comes with experience. Okay? Ashley, do you have any? Alicia? Sorry.
So Ryan, payroll is a big one.
Yeah.
Like how many families depend on my business staying afloat to feed
Yes.
their families. And insurance.
Insurance, yes.
Is one of our biggest.
Absolutely. Okay, so with the Profit First system, I'm going to teach you 5 different accounts to set up, and you may think, 5 bank accounts? Oh my goodness, are you crazy? No, I'm off the crazy cycle, okay? But I've also learned after using this process for a year, I have learned that I can customize it. So this coming up here, when our season kicks off, you're gonna bet that I will have a separate account that is for chemicals. Because I'm gonna plan for an entire year for next off season, okay? All right, but Profit First, and I do have the book up here if you'd like to look through it at some point. The author is Mike Michalowicz, and he is a marketing genius. He has lots of free downloads and different things. I'm going to give you the website and help you navigate that at the end. But this book is based on solid financial principles. Now, like I said, it's kind of the opposite of the accounting way to look at it, but it does mesh. It's based on brain science. So he says you don't need to reinvent who you are to be able to run a business well, okay? I'm not an accountant. I hate spreadsheets. I hate accounting, but I can do this because it literally takes me 15 minutes twice a week. And then just looking at the bank account every day, which I do anyway. So he uses brain science, how we naturally function, and then our habits to make it work for us, okay? So there are 4 basic Profit First principles. Say that 5 times fast. One is use small plates. Okay, that'll make sense in a minute. serve sequentially, in other words, eat your vegetables first, do what you ought to do when you ought to do it, then you can do what you want to do when you want to do it, right? I love Zig Ziglar. Remove temptation and then enforce a rhythm. So, use a small plate. In 1955, a philosopher named Parkinson came out with what he called Parkinson's Law. And it says that the demand for something expands to match its supply. Okay? For instance, if we go to a buffet and they give us a large plate, how much are we going to eat? We're going to fill up the plate, and if it's a buffet, we're going to go back 2 or 3 times. So the supply is plentiful, so that makes us demand more. Okay? But if we go to a tapas bar in Spain, where they give you those little bitty plates, how much are you going to eat? Not as much, because the supply is less, so we naturally demand less. Okay? And he says in business, most people budget by what's in the bank account. Guilty. I would open that bank account and go, okay, we can order that drum of alcohol, or I can buy that new label machine, or whatever. And I would try to budget. I really honestly would, Ashley. But it seemed like there was always a need, a demand, that the supply was my checkbook. Okay? So with the profit first system, you put your money in small plates, in small envelopes, and then you budget from there. So I'm no longer looking at what's in the checkbook. I look at what's in my tax folder, what's in my payroll folder. And if there's not enough there, guess what? Somebody's got to go home for a few hours this week. Okay? But it forces me to look at the supply. Okay? Or I just keep saying, we can't buy that new floor machine that we want yet. Okay? We gotta wait. I've been waiting for some things for a while. So in this system, you're gonna allocate money for its purpose, not just one big bucket that you draw from. Okay? So you're gonna set up a separate account or folder for your income. You can answer or not, it doesn't matter. But how many of you have all of your income going straight into your checking account? That's the way I was, okay? I promise you, this one tip will change your business finances and your personal finances. And that is, set up a separate account for your income to go in. That sounds crazy. But then you allocate money for your expenses from that income account. And then when you log into your bank account, you're looking at the checkbook going, I can't spend that yet. Not your income account. I'm going to tell you what to do with that income account in a little bit, all right? He says, Mike Michalowicz says it's like squeezing the toothpaste. When you're almost out of toothpaste, you get real creative about how to squeeze that tube, right? Okay? But when the supply is there, it's like, shh, I'm going to use a lot. So it's the same principle. You got to squeeze the toothpaste of your expenses, because the less expenses we have, the higher the profit we're going to have, right? That just makes sense. And we all know that, but this helps us to do it, not just know it, okay? Then we're going to transfer all of our deposits into that income account, and then we're going to set up 4 profit first accounts to go along with it, okay? So you're going to have 5 accounts total: income, profit, owner's comp, taxes, because you know they're coming, and you do not want to be at the end of the year going, oh my goodness, I don't know if I can make it. I may have to shut the doors because I didn't plan for my taxes, okay? And then 5 is operating expenses. Okay, those are, I see y'all taking notes, and that is my love language, so I'm glad that you really are doing that. But they are listed for you at the bottom. I guess I should have said that a minute ago. They're on that handout that I gave you at the bottom, okay? Now, I wanna shout out Max right here. I was already a Max customer when I found out about this process, so I already knew that I could do this without added fees. The way Max does it is they have club accounts. All right, so you open a checking account, right? You open a shares account, and Ashley's gonna have some time to explain it better at the end. But then you have these little folders within that account. So that keeps you from having to pay an extra monthly fee for opening a checking account, okay? So you can just name one folder income, one folder profit, one folder owner's comp, one taxes, and then my checking account where I pay out of, that's my operating expenses account, okay? Is everybody kind of with me on that? All right, because this is the account that everything is going to flow out of. If I need to pay a bill, I'm going to transfer it from the proper account over there to operating expenses and pay it from there, okay? All right. Now I also have a payroll folder because that's the one that keeps me up at night. So for every check that comes in at Johnson Labs, I put 25% of it in my payroll account, okay? And at the end of this year, I had more payroll saved up for the hard times than I ever have before, okay? Just because during the summer months, I was allocating money for those leaner times, okay? All right. So the first one, serve sequentially. I already talked about small plays. Okay. So serve sequentially. Pay yourself first. Now, hear me on this, because the mistake that some small business owners make is they pay themselves everything and don't save anything for the other things that they know are coming. Okay? So you're going to pay yourself a small portion of profit first. And out of that profit, you're going to pay yourself your salary. You may pay for your BNI membership, or if you need to go to a convention in April, you know, for your window tinting or whatever, you've got money in that profit first account. It's for you, okay? And think, I bought a laptop. I've been wanting a laptop for a couple of years and never could afford it, right? But this year, I had money that was allocated for me, and I bought a new laptop with it. That seems silly and crazy, but you're allocating money and telling it what to do, okay? If you pay yourself first and allocate money to cover the necessary expenses, you'll be prepared for the unexpected, which you should always expect. If you know business, we all want to grow like this, right? But business is more like this. It has ups and downs, and you hope that it's climbing in the right direction, even in the down times, okay? But this helps us be prepared for the unexpected. Okay. Uh-huh.
So when you
Thank you so much.
So when you bought your laptop, those funds were allocated in your profit account or your owner, what account was it in?
Honestly, I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't remember if I took it out of owner's comp or profit.
Cause I know you said you had some money left over, you know.
Right.
Put it away.
And I've been using my owner's comp account for bonuses for my employees. So I take that, and they're not technically owners of our business. We're not set up that way. But that's what I've chosen to do with that money is every quarter we pay bonuses. And I've never paid the amount of bonuses that we did this year. Usually one or two lead people might get one or two a year, but we paid quarterly bonuses every quarter this year. They got something, okay? Go ahead.
So, if you can, I guess, and it's right here, but what's the difference between income and actual profit, I would say?
Okay, income is whatever comes into my business, okay? Now, I know that if you go to your accountant, they're gonna say, well, what's your cost of goods, that sort of thing. I don't do that, and this is this kind of, system that you can start small and grow, okay? And I'll show you that in a minute. So I don't worry about deducting out all of my expenses because I started so small that I'm just doing something, but it's working. So next year I'm gonna go more, okay? So profit is really the money that you're gonna use to invest back into your business, okay? But like I said, it's not a tax term of profit. But we're all in it to make a profit. And if you pull that out and then operate your business on what's left, then it is gonna be profit. But because you're gonna pull it out and save it. It's gonna be there for 3 months in case you need it for something. But I would just say if you need it, make sure you use it for something that is investing back into your business. Because that's what profit is for. Does that make sense? Okay. Yes.
When you allocated that money for bonuses for your payroll, how did you go about, setting up that transaction? I don't mean like physically, I mean like mentally, for your staff and, for the upcoming years. Because I know like I've done bonuses some years, but some of them were bigger than others, right?
Right.
So it can kind of lead someone to think like, oh, well, if it's this year, then next year is going to be larger,
No,
right?
because
and sometimes I've kind of had all right, cool, it's not as much this time.
the bonuses are based on a percentage of our income. So if we do well, they know they're gonna, and their biggest bonus is in the summertime. But every 3 months, I'm gonna take about half of that owner's comp account and I'm gonna divide it among the employees that qualify. Well, to qualify at Johnson Labs, you've gotta have good attendance. Because everything we do is as a team, and if you're chronically late, you don't deserve a bonus because everybody's had to cover your job while you decided to roll out of the bed, okay? And first of all, you're not gonna be here that long. But what I saw happen was, our max number of attendance points is 8, because life is gonna happen. But after 4, you don't qualify for a raise or a bonus. So right now, I have the best attendance that I've had in years with my employees, because they knew that bonus was coming in the first paycheck of January, and they made sure they brought a doctor's excuse, they didn't call out the day of, and all those things that would make them get a point. So just because you work at Johnson Labs does not mean you're gonna get part of the bonus, but it is based on how much our income.
Okay, so you communicated that to them saying like, hey, it's not gonna be like a set bonus, it's
Right.
more like just depending upon.
It depends on how that quarter goes.
Okay, gotcha.
And then after that quarter, so the first quarter ends in March. So that week, I will figure out what came in, what the percentage was, and we kind of divide the pie. So if the quarter that I only had 6 people that qualified, they all got more than the quarter where I had 10. So
That's interesting, yeah.
then they get it that first paycheck of April. So, all right, good questions, guys. All right. Now, this little hint, hide your profit account from your dashboard because you don't want to mess with that profit account until you need to. Now, Ashley does not like that because she and I both kept forgetting how to unhide that stupid thing. And I'll be like, I know it's there, but I need to see how much money. But we have finally written down how to unhide it. But honestly, Mike Michalowicz would actually say, put this at a different bank. I don't do that, but you have to know your self-discipline level. The biggest thing that makes this system not work for people is they see that bank account growing and they go, oh, I got money over there, let me spend it on something. If you're not spending it on what it's allocated for, you're doing the system wrong and it's not gonna work for you. okay? So if you can't keep your fingers out of your income account, put it at a different bank. Close your ears, Ashley. And the purpose of that is making it harder for you to get to. But and that's why I hide it from my dashboard, because I just want it to build in the background. And then at the end of the quarter, I'm gonna look at that profit account and decide what to do with it. I'm gonna invest in new equipment, or I'm gonna pay down some debt, or whatever.
We kind of have a checks and balances system for our similar concept, but like I manage it all, put it all in the computer. But in order for it to go anywhere, like write a check, my husband has to be the one to sign.
Right.
So therefore, it doesn't go anywhere unless both of us agree
Right.
that it goes. Like we set up a multi-check so that no one person has power.
Right, exactly. And that is good. Mike Michalowicz also just released a book for personal finance. It's called The Money Habit, and it's the same kind of system for individuals. My husband is the kite and I'm the string. He has expensive hobbies and he wants to always spend the money, okay? And I'm like, no. For the first time in 38 years of marriage, we got on the same page. Because he's like, how much do we have in our dreams account? How much do we have in our wants account? And I'm like, it's not there. We gotta wait. And so it really, yes, it helps you get on the same page, but you do need, I always say you need 2 pair of eyes on everything. Okay? All right, so the goal is to enforce a rhythm. The goal is to get into a rhythm of transferring money from your income account to your other accounts on the 10th and the 25th of the month. Okay, and then you pay your bills out of that OpEx account. Okay, I thought I will never be able to do this, but typically your bills, most of them are due around the 10th, right? And you can adjust this. In our winter season this year, I've had to do it like weekly. But pretty much in our busy season, I just let that income account build every 2 weeks, and then at the end of 2 weeks, payroll's coming, right? So I would take that income and I would allocate it. If it wasn't payroll week, I would put it in the payroll account. If it was payroll week, I would put it straight in the checking account because I know I've got to use it for payroll. Okay? And I'll show you how to figure all that out again. But you want to try to get in a rhythm with it. All right, now this is what I do. Okay? You've got allocation targets. I have a little Google spreadsheet that I use, and every 2 weeks I just pull down, oh wait, I'm ahead of myself. This is Mike Michalowicz's thing, not mine. All right, so what he gives you a range depending on how big your business is, okay? So if you're just starting out, you're probably in this section. So your income goes in here. Your profit, he says, take 5% out. So think of that of like for every $100 that comes in, you're going to put $5 in your profit first account. Now your brain goes, $5, I can do that. All right? So that's what I'm saying. He uses brain science because you want to establish a habit of how you're putting money away. All right? You put 50% in owner's comp. I don't do these percentages. Okay? I'll show you mine in a minute, or where I started. Tax, 15%. And you notice it's 15% all the way across. But this owner's comp is big in the beginning, but as your income grows, you're going to use smaller percentages because 10% of $1 million is a lot more than 50% of 10,000. Does that make sense? So as your business grows, your income percentages for owner's pay is going to go down, even though it will actually be more dollars. Tax is pretty consistent. Operating expenses. This is why, one reason this system has been really good for me, because it's forced me to look at our operating expenses and go, you know, I'm about as tight as I think I can be, but I need to tighten up just a little bit more, okay? And it forces you to look at those envelopes.
go into typical accounting terms, do you consider cost of goods sold as an operating expense under this category?
Yes, yes, cost of goods sold, if you can't pay for your cost of goods, you can't be in business. Yeah, and for me, payroll, because we do a lot of partner work and the customer owns the inventory and we just package it for them, payroll is part of my cost of goods sold.
Right.
Portion of it is, okay? All right, so this is kind of how mine works. Now up here, you've got the caps, my current allocation percentage. This is my target. My TAP is a targeted allocation percentage. So my goal is to have 15% here, 15% taxes, 20 in owner's comp, 25 in payroll, just because that's what I feel like I need to do. And then what I do, my little spreadsheet, I have a few accounts that already go straight into my operating expenses, and I didn't want to monkey with them. I just want them to keep going. So what I do is I just subtract those out if I've already transferred it, okay? But let's just say if you get $10,000 in an income within this 2 weeks in January, then what I'm going to do is I've got my percentages in here already in the spreadsheet, okay? So it says like B4 times 0.02, okay? And it puts it right here. So you look at $200 and you go, I can put $200 in there, okay? Because remember, you haven't spent this money yet. It's been sitting in your income account. Now you're deciding what to do with it, okay? So then you allocate it, and then every 2 weeks, I just pull my little formulas down. At the end of the quarter, you go up. So if you're putting just 2% here, but your goal is 15, then at the end of the quarter, you do 3%. The next quarter, you move to 4%, okay? So your brain is going, oh, that's just a little bit, that's just a little bit. But what's happening to these bank accounts? Your profit account is growing. Now, also at the end of the quarter, I'm gonna look, that's when I pay my bonuses at the end of the quarter. That's when I look at that profit account and say, is there something I really need to reinvest in my business, or can it just sit there for a little bit, okay? My taxes, I didn't touch that all year until it was time to pay my taxes in December. For the first time since I've been running the business, our whole tax burden was saved up by September. Do you know how much pressure that took off of me? Because I'm usually sweating that end of the year tax bill, okay? But during the year when I had to pay payroll taxes, I could pull if I needed to. My whole thing is, if there's enough in OpEx, if I can figure out any other way to pay for it, I don't pull it out of my taxes, even if it's a tax expense. Because remember, I'm putting a percentage of every 2 weeks into that operating expenses. So if I'm good there, I don't touch my tax, I just pay it out of my operating expenses. Does that make sense?
So do you let your taxes roll over for the next year if you have some money left over?
Good question. If you have money at the end of the year left over, you can, or you can take that money and pay down any debt that you have, or you can invest in a piece of equipment. But that way you're investing in your own business without going into excessive debt, okay? So I'm telling you, this will help you sleep better at night, promise. Any other questions about this? Okay. All right. And so our experience at Johnson Labs, this year we paid down on debt. We bought some new equipment because, see, we expanded and opened a second location that we needed equipment for. And the customer was like, hurry, we need you in the building, ready to go by September 1st. So I had to buy computers, I had to buy different scales, I had to buy different things. And then they didn't send any orders. But because I've been using the system and I had money squirreled away, we didn't go bankrupt. So I was able to still be tight, but survive until that account gets rolling. Does that make sense? So you are protecting your business from the storms, because that's going to come. The account is going to come, but it didn't come when he said it was going to. Okay. We had our taxes set aside by September, and we gave the best quarterly bonuses we've ever given in our company's history. All right? Now, for resources, this book, I highly recommend it. It's not a cheap book. You're not going to find it for less than about $30. But I'm just giving you the tip of the iceberg of the system. He goes a lot deeper, but I can tell you, just doing the few things that I did over the last year, we've been in a much better place. And it's amazing that my MAX accounts are paying me more interest this year, just because the money's in there. It's not flowing out for something I need. Oh, we gotta have this. Yeah, we still need it, but we can wait 3 months to get it. Okay, it's an audio book. I don't know if you do Audible, but it is on Audible, and so that's a great listen. Profit First Professionals. If you want to go deep, he has a list on his website of people that are trained accountants that are trained in this system and know how to use it. Okay. So I have not done that yet. I'm just doing what I can on my own. And then MikeMichalowicz.com has tons of resources, okay? And then his profit and cash management sources. Yeah, there's the book. Lots of free resources that you can download, okay? There's bonus videos. You can watch him do his Profit First keynote speech. He's got online courses and app. But those are all paid things. But I haven't even gotten through the free things, and it's really turned us around.
You said that he has what available? You said he have what people trained for what?
Profit First Professionals. They're accountants that have learned this system, so they can do the accounting side, but they can also help you do the business owner side, is what I think of it as. Okay, does that make sense? Anybody learn anything that you think will help you tomorrow? Good. Good. I have 2 hands raised. Let me see if I can get back to my presentation here. Now, Ashley, if you'll come up and kind of go over how Max does the system and answer any questions.
I've got a few keynotes real quick. I just wanted to point out, since we're all new to this. First of all, how many of y'all actually have true business accounts? Okay. And how many operate out of your personal account? Okay. So that's a big thing. Always keep your money separate. Do not commingle your funds. You need separate accounts. Then you need separate sub-accounts in those accounts, just like Ms. Karla was saying. I've been doing this for 17 years, and the biggest thing I see is people commingling funds, okay? That's not good for you or your accountant or anybody. It doesn't end well, so I urge you to separate everything.
And that's why you have your owner's comp account, because that's how you're going to pay yourself in the beginning. All right, you're not going to be able to pay yourself what you're worth. Okay, so get over that.
Right.
You're going to have to pay yourself a little bit.
I was just about to say, discipline is very important. As a self-employed person, you have to have discipline. The club accounts help you with the discipline, but you've got to learn to be okay with no. Not today, not tomorrow, maybe not 3 months. It just depends. You've got to discipline yourself so that you can have the better things later. Okay.
Can I?
Absolutely, yeah.
You know, that's a myth that, oh, I can buy this high dollar phone or this brand new truck for the business because it's a tax write-off.
No.
Okay, yeah, it's a great tax write-off if you can pay cash for it.
Yeah.
But if you're having to borrow money to, you know, and go into extreme debt, and, you know, borrowing money needs to be a wise decision, because there are times when you do, but too many young business people want to write off everything and go into more debt than their business can sustain.
Which will hurt you.
Yeah.
Yes,
I was
ma'am.
gonna say, I do taxes as well, and a lot of people don't understand that, like, when you're writing things off, it makes your income not look as much, and so
Correct.
your adjusted gross income is lower, and especially if you're ready to make large purchases, or you want to be able to get a loan, they're gonna look at how much money you're actually profited, and
Correct.
so it's not gonna be that if you like write off everything, so
Correct.
you don't get that.
That is very good. And typically at a financial institution, for a business, they're gonna say, do you have at least 2 years tax returns? They want 2 years of profitable income to see that if we give you this loan, you can pay it back with no problems. So just keep that in mind. It's not, you can't just walk in and say, I need a business loan. They call them startup loans. A lot of financial institutions do not offer those. When you do get a startup loan, most of the time the interest rate's really high and you better read the very fine print. So back to the club accounts. Those that we offer at MAX, they're very convenient. They can be very accessible, or you can hide them, like Miss Karla said. Sometimes it's good to hide them, because then if you can't find them, you gotta come in to see me, and then I get to say, well, what are we doing? You know, then I get to ask all the important questions.
Second pair of eyes.
I'm
So
sorry.
that's right, second pair of eyes.
That's right. So then we'll talk about it, and I'll be like, well, should we do this or should we not? Is there another option? You know, to go through some of the avenues. Miss Karla does very well with all of her accounts. There's an unlimited number of club accounts. You can open 10 or 20 or whatever you want to do and change the name. So if today you want it to be income, and then you say, oh wait, I think I need to change it to this, you have access to do all of that. So you're in control. A lot of places don't have those. I think that's a key thing, and that's on personal and business accounts. I do a lot of consumer stuff, like personal accounts, and I urge people, especially young children, or I say children, young adults who are getting started, to go ahead and set that savings aside. You're going to want to buy a car in the future. You want to go a home. There's a lot of things you're going to want to buy. Typically, you're going to need to make a down payment. So that it shows intent that you want it, number one, and that you're going to do the right thing, number two.
One hint on those club accounts, when you set them up, write down the name that you called it and the last 4 numbers.
4 digits, yeah.
The last 4 digits that it shows you, because if you go in and you say, hey, I want to deposit this money in my income account, they might not see it the same on their side as you do, and if you've got those numbers, it's helpful.
It is very helpful.
Are those club accounts interest paying?
They do pay a little bit.
It's 0.015.
See, she is important. I know she said 0.15, which is better than nothing.
Yes, ma'am, 0.00.
Yeah. So having said that, that's another thing. I urge you, whether it's personal or business, to check your accounts. Make sure you're not paying any additional fees. A lot of people offer business accounts and personal accounts, but a lot of times they charge you fees, whether it's monthly, quarterly, yearly, whatever it may be. Max does not do that. So, and we're here to try to help you with your personal life and your business life. We want you to profit. If you have questions about that, you're welcome. I'll be around for a few minutes. You can stop by the table, you can hit Emma up, or you can come by the branch, and we'd be glad to just talk over things. You're not forced to do anything when you walk in the door. We like to talk to people, gain relationships, get to know each other. I think Mr. Bonds here can attest to that.
Yeah.
But other than that, yes, as far as the club accounts, they're very great. Miss Karla loves them. She uses them in her personal and her business life, and it has paid off for her greatly. So I urge you to do that. It's going to be a really good thing.
And, you know, they're familiar with it too. There's
Oh, yeah.
probably no other bank in town that is familiar.
Right.
But we've learned together, because when I started learning this, I was like, hey, can we do this? Can we do that? And so we've tried several ways, and it does work. It does work. Now, one other thing that Mike Michalowicz would say is automate your things as much as possible. That's hard in business, because do you know exactly how much is gonna come in? That's why I have my little spreadsheet. That works for me. I look at the income every 2 weeks and I allocate, all right? But if you have a set amount, or maybe you know you have 5 set accounts, then you can just have that 15% automatically go into your profit account, and then you can do the others by hand. You can do it that way. But the more you can automate this system, the better it's gonna work for you, because you don't have to think about it.
That's right. Then you don't have to stay awake at night.
That's right.
Do you guys have any questions about the club accounts in general, or banking, anything?
Or anything?
So, so automatic payment like a no-no. So like, let's say you got a vehicle that you purchased and you have the monthly payment on it.
No, that's not a no-no.
Okay.
We have certain automatic payments that come out, but we just know that we have to make sure it's in there, you know. I like to allocate every 2 weeks from the income account, but sometimes life happens and you have to. That's why I have that column in my spreadsheet that says already transferred, because I don't want to account for that as, you know, income. I don't want to put it in the OPEX account twice if I've already put it in there. Okay?
Actually, like, okay, so if you already have, you know, a business account, do you just kind of stack on the what do you call
The
them?
club accounts?
Yeah, club accounts
You
to
do,
that?
yeah, you would just come in and say, I need to add a club account, and then you will be able to see it on your online banking profile, everything.
Right. Okay.
And we just add it to the account that you already have.
Now, I mean, I've set up some like triggers, if you will, for lack of better terms, you know, to pull from that main account. I'm one of those people where everything's just going to like that one account, and I just see the number there, you know.
Right.
But it's pulling a certain dollar amount every so often to, you know, X amount of accounts. But is there a way we can do like percentages, you know? Because I mean, from hearing what's going on right here, I would ideally, I think I would like for things to, you know, whenever payments come through our system and go to that account, it can kind of like disperse as it goes in there. Does it work
Yeah,
like that?
There's
Or
not a way for us to disperse a percentage. There's a way for us to set up an auto transfer for a dollar amount to
Right.
match your percentage. But if your percentage changed every week, then, you know,
But if your
That's
clients pay certain amounts, see, that won't work for me because
Yeah.
we get paid per bottle
Mhm.
that we package,
Right.
okay? But if you know I have 10 clients and they all pay me $1,000,
Mhm.
you can figure up your percentage,
Right.
you know,
Right.
so that it goes once a month or whatever. But here's the thing, if you're sending that money from income to your operating expenses account, you want to try to make sure that it doesn't go above your target. Because if it goes above your target, then you're spending too much money. And you're still going to allocate too much. Your expenses are going to be too big, okay? So you still have to squeeze the toothpaste and make sure that you've got the right amount going to taxes and all these other accounts.
When you say the taxes, do you mean strictly income tax? Is
I
what
use
you're
that
doing?
for whatever tax,
Like
okay?
the payroll tax liabilities, you move over there as well?
It depends, because ours comes out the next week, okay? So when my income, hopefully I'm ahead on everything. And so I'm looking at this 2 weeks, and I've already got more than enough to cover the taxes in my tax account, okay? So I look at this and I go, okay, my tax account my tax burden is gonna be X amount this week, so maybe I'll just go ahead and put it straight into OPEX, because I know it's fixing to come out.
So it's kind of depends on your.
It depends on what time of the month it is and all
Right.
that. That sounds good.
Federal withholdings, so it's like part with the payroll expense, but then our like Alabama employees withholding is quarterly.
Right.
And then we have like sales tax, which
Right.
is monthly to pay, so I was curious if you put it back every week into like your tax account with your income tax, or if you put it over and then put it in OPEX and let it sit there for 3 months, for example.
Yeah,
until you
my
figure it out.
goal is to move that percentage into the tax account and just let it sit. If at any point I don't have enough in my OpEx to cover it, I'm gonna say, okay, this tax bill is due, so I'm gonna pull it out of taxes into OpEx. My goal is to be ahead on my taxes
Right.
in that account.
Ex-
Anything else?
Could you explain that already transfer? I mean,
That's just for me, because if I transferred every week instead of every 2 weeks like I'm supposed to, because something was due, then I just go ahead and account for that. And my formula here takes that out of this thing, the OpEx.
okay, so do you try to like reimburse yourself that 140 when that, so let's say you,
Well, instead of putting $6,800 in here, I know I've already put that 140 in there. That went in early. So I'm not gonna put it in my OpEx again. Does that make sense? So it's the 10,000 minus all my little squirrel away accounts, minus what I already put in there early.
So she just deducts it and does the difference. That's what, yeah.
And then I put that amount, that's into my checking account, and with whatever else is already in there, and pay bills.
Do you go in and type these things in on your computer?
I have that spreadsheet,
Is
my
there-
Profit First spreadsheet, and all I have to do is plug in the date and how much money that came in. And then the formulas do the rest.
She may be up for hire. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, I don't know.
You're gonna have some extra
I
income, Karla.
made, yes, if you will send me an email,
Yeah.
Karla, Karla, at johnsonlabs.com. If you will send me an email and say, hey, I need your nifty little spreadsheet, I made an example one, and I will send it to you, and you can have it.
Is that the most automated way you could do it? Because like I'm big on automation. You know,
I understand that.
I don't really want to have to, you know,
Jonas?
touch that. You know, over and over.
I tell you
again.
what, if you wanted us to do a one-to-one,
Uh-huh.
and you want me to look at your income, is your income pretty predictable for the most part? Like
I'm
people have an
switching.
account?
So like last year, at the top of last year, it was more like spotty, you know. But like now, transitioning from last year to this year, it's more
More
it's like
monthly?
more retainer based. So
Right.
it's still mixed.
Right.
So, but I mean, eventually I'm gonna do away with the spot all like completely, you know.
Okay.
But
I can help you make it partially automated, but maybe yours is once a month. You need to sit your butt down at the computer and do the work. Okay? You can have all the system or you can have part of the system, but you're gonna get the most out of it if you really try to do it.
This might be a 3 1-to-1 here. Like it may take me here. I'll bring my laptop,
Yeah.
you bring yours, and we'll just sit down and.
No,
All right.
but like I said, honestly, I know I'm being mean and funny, but if you do what you can, start somewhere, and I think what'll happen is your brain will go, oh, this is working. I'm gonna do a little bit more. So just start somewhere.
and that's kind of what he says in the book. You know, even if you don't have all your ducks in a row, go ahead and start somewhere. Cause it's more like a mentality thing.
Yes.
More like a physicality, the
Right.
numbers and stuff.
Yep. It
and
makes you more aware of where your money's going.
And Ms. Karla, before we end, I just want to thank you for doing this. This was so awesome.
Yeah, that was
So,
Like, you've given us more than enough information, so we definitely appreciate it.
thank you.
I didn't mean
Thank you, thank
No,
you.
thank you for saying that.
I was sitting here saying, that is such a blessing that the Lord allows people like that really have a hunger for this to not only take it for themselves, but give it to other people, so.
Can I write that down for our social media? That was so great.
That was a great quote. That was a great quote. Yes, I just wanted to say a really quick closing announcement. Basically going off what Amari said, if you are a student here as part of the Pitch to Practice program, you know who you are because I've been talking to you. I know you guys are in the very early stages of your business. Most of you are. Some of you may not have officially started yet. I'll be reaching out to you guys about one-on-one meetings, and we will talk about how to apply this. It does not matter how much money you have coming in, because it's more about building habits and the mindset. So just don't be intimidated by it. We'll reach out to you guys. You have all of the info and schedule in your packets. And for those of you who are not students, we do have 3 more workshops that focus on financial systems. The next one will be more about banking and building credit and financial credibility. So grab one of these from the Max Credit Union table on your way out so that you can save the dates if you'd like to continue joining us. And I'll also email you, all of you guys have your email addresses if you signed up, and we'll share the info. And then lastly, yes, thank you to Ms. Karla. She's a business owner. She's running a whole business, and she took time out of her day not only to be here, but to put all of this together and share really incredible information with you about how she operates her business. That is not a common thing that business owners do. And she did it completely for free, just because she is passionate about supporting other business owners and contributing to job growth and economic development in our region. So thank you, Ms. Karla, for everything. This was amazing. Y'all feel free to hang around and talk, and have a great afternoon. Yeah, there's plenty. If you want more lunch,
Good brother. What's going on, man?
yeah, of course. Yes, please do.
Oh, this one's good. Yes, I promise.
Ain't that fast buffalo chicken?
No, wait, sure, let me see.
All right, then we're going to check salad and
I didn't know that.
I got your car still in my place, but I gotta call you. At the, UPS store, you brought your car. I was like, the most professional,
What?
We don't know about that.
Absolutely nothing. No.
If you were in a room with 100 other people who don't listen to country music, I would choose you first. Who doesn't? What's this? What's this?
I had the rap.
Thank you so much. Have a good day.
The car that we were next to is a Chevrolet.
Oh, man, that's a Chevrolet. It wasn't, I think, I know it's just a good question, but think back. What is that girl? Because okay, never mind. I'm just a copy of it at the pump. And then the last time I took a picture of it, it was also missing a picture, was like a long time ago. And I just noticed it. It was Thursday, about the store. Thursday. Okay. And when was the picture you took a long time ago? And it was his, or was that the latest? Okay. And then the last time I saw it, well, the last time I had proof was the 3rd. Right? Okay. Do you think maybe it fell off when you walked back, or when you're is it in your tank? Okay.
It's a bunch
I mean, I wanted to sit in and like a meeting size kind of.
I just thought I'd mention
But yeah,
It works.
but yeah, that is, yeah, I kind of worked on it a little bit, but not enough.
Did you bring your stuff back?
Yeah.
So if y'all just where our project goes.
Okay.
It was on the.
It was nice to
I'll have to
meet
take
you,
your
Karla.
footage to see if anybody has been in there and like mess with it. It looks like somebody, like, I was looking at it and it looks like somebody tried them to see if they were there, but they were like arranged. Yeah. Okay, so I'm thinking maybe they accidentally took one when they were looking at it, but.
Well, why would they open your mail?
They're like
so
a
rude.
single nail missing.
We're in here,
That's,
and
yeah.
I'm not an accountant, I'm, you know.
Why not just take the
so I
whole thing though at that point?
wouldn't begin to advise you on what is there. I do know that a
And
lot
it's
of
very
people
obvious
do
too.
operate under an LLC instead of being incorporated. I would say find a good accountant and ask those questions to them.
Okay, we're gonna look to see if
Austin
someone will stay by your stuff for too long. Because that makes sense.
Accountant. In fact,
I mean,
he's
that's
teaching
really
at
rude
a
of them.
university while somebody is on medical leave right now.
I even sold it in like a little internet store.
I would be happy to give him your name and number if you would like to talk to them.
I so retract my statement. I have sold stuff.
So I have,
Somebody bought the last pair of the rose earrings I had. And someone finally bought me.